Hello there, my name is Hocus Pocus and welcome back to the Minecraft Let's Play. This is episode 100. Yes, we are in triple figures now, and as a quick disclaimer, we won't be doing too much Let's Playing today, more like some world touring. So today is the world tour episode, as you guys know, and before I forget to tell you, in the description below will be a world download link as well, so make sure to go and check that out. And I guess we'll just skip the formalities and get right into things, because it's going to be a long one today, most likely, so I'll try and keep it as succinct as possible. So here we go, we are starting things out in the Ravine base station here. So this is one of the first things we built down here, and as you can see on the right hand side here, we've got 3 switches. So these switches allow you to configure where you want the cart to go. So firstly, you would have to switch the cart over to this rail. Unfortunately, we didn't build a way to automatically do that. We could try and fit that in the future, but it's going to have to be very compact if we do. So we've got three directions that we can go in here. They just configure a rail in each of these gaps around the side, and then of course at the top you have a sign that says no lever equals mine. So if you don't flick one of the levers, then you'll just go straight back to our mine, which is off in that direction somewhere. Let me just quickly take you up here to check it out. So the switches configure this rail, and this rail here, so it can take you off in either of those directions. We've got our little aquarium over here as well with a few fish in it, which is nice. Anyway, moving on from the Ravine station, there isn't really much more to show you there. I will take you over to deep storage. So if you hit this pressure plate, the 3x3 piston door opens up, and coming through you can obviously close it behind you with another use of either this pressure plate or the one outside. And the reason why we call this a deep storage is it has a dual reason actually. So firstly is because of the water down below, which actually isn't that deep, so not sure where I got that from, but you know, it works, I guess. And then the second reason is because this is where we store our items in mass quantity. So as you can see, each double chest is labeled with a specific block, and that is where we will keep the specific block if we don't want it to overflow our small storage system. So in here we just have things like cobblestone, stone, sand, not gravel. Gravel is actually one of the blocks we keep running out of. We've got the diorite, we've got granite, we've got andesite, we've got a few of the prismarine blocks there, and a couple of other things. So if we come outside of the deep storage system and take an immediate left, that will bring us down into small storage. So this storage system is supposed to be a little bit more accessible for us, and the chests are labeled in a more ambiguous way. So as you can see, all of the stone blocks get clumped together, all of the wood blocks get clumped together, dirt, gravel, and sand get put together, also with some flint as well, because of course that does come from gravel. And then right at the back here, we've got our crafting bench, which you can hit the button to do a quick block swap deal with. So that converts it back into just a flat wall. And then of course hitting the button gives you access again to the crafting bench. We don't really ever use that. It's kind of a waste, but you know, it's there and it works if you do want to press that button. So in the last episode, we also brought in some of the 1.14 lanterns and placed those in to replace the torches. So I think this is one of my favorite areas of the base actually. This is such a cool build in my opinion. And up there we've got some fixtures in the form of armor stands, just wearing some green armor because that is the accent block we're using around here if you haven't guessed. We've got the mossy cobblestone, we've got some of the terracotta up there, the leaves, that type of thing. So that's pretty much it for the small storage system. So if we head up this way, I'm going to show you this build here and this build here next. So this is the redstone closet, or what we refer to as the redstone closet. Standing on the pressure plates will release a bunch of chests, and these chests contain everything that we would need for a redstone build. So I've kind of categorized them in a way that I'd understand. I don't expect you guys to understand how I've categorized them. I guess some of them are quite trivial. These bottom two definitely are. This one is trivial as well, except we don't have any redstone lamps in there. Again, pistons is easy to understand, but a few of these are a bit ambiguous, like this repeater one. We actually store comparators and repeaters in there, and then at the top here this is going to be droppers, dispensers, that kind of thing, and some of them I don't even know, so I guess we'll just work that out as we go along. However, opposite that is the very first sugarcane farm that we built, so this can be harvested at the push of a button. Everything falls into the water stream and is taken to a hopper right there. So standing on the pressure plate gives you access to the chest, and there you go. We've got a bunch of sugarcane in there. We actually have built a much larger, much more efficient farm outside now, but this is one of the first farms and builds that we built down here in the Ravine base, so I thought I'd keep it around just for old time's sake, you know. And as I say, it's kind of a monument to where we began here. So moving on again, up on the left hand side here, we've got a staircase that takes you to a few different builds. So firstly, we'll head to the end of the corridor here and check out the smelting station. So either side of the room, we've got 7 blast furnaces, which again, we updated last episode. We had regular furnaces in here, but we took them out and replaced them for blast furnaces for a bit of that ore smelting efficiency. So at the back, we've got coal in the bottom chest. You hit the lever, that will disperse coal amongst the system here. So as you can see, up to 34 there, and then they come back, and if you leave the switch on, obviously they'll bounce back and forth until you turn it off. And then in the top is where you place your smeltable items. Again, hit the lever and they'll just bounce back and forth until you turn it off, dispensing items evenly amongst the 7 furnaces, which then smelt the items and eventually drop them down into the chest on either side, which can then be collected and taken elsewhere. So that is about that for the furnace room. Coming down here on the left hand side, we've got our villager trading area, which is battered, bruised, looks like a bomb's dropped. That's because we're going to get rid of it soon. You know, villager mechanics have changed, and that means that what we're going to do instead is actually convert this room into a house for our mending villager, which is going to live here. He's going to live here on his own so that we can get this trade, because this is a very good value trade, and of course mending books are quite valuable in the game. So we're just going to leave him in here, probably kill the rest off, but don't tell them because I don't want them to get scared. They are living a feeble life as it is, locked away in their 1x1 cages. But as I say, you can see up here we've got a few signs that kind of give you an idea of what you can trade with these guys. And then in the back, we've got a hopper just in case we accidentally throw anything in there. So if we throw something in there, it should get sucked up. But then I just forget that we actually have redstone torches stopping that from working as well. So this room was a bit of a shambles from the start, I guess. Anyway, we are going to get a few resources back from pulling it down, so I'm not too fussed. And that is about that for that room as well. So let's move on again. Coming through the wall here, you might be thinking, where on earth is he going? Well, our slime farm is functional but doesn't have an entrance. So here it is. This is just the 1-layer slime farm. You can see we've actually got some slime balls there. So let's chuck them over to an area in which they'll be harvested. Coming inside the back room here, you will see that we have a setup that stops carts that have items in them until they have unloaded. It all gets dispensed down into these double chests here. So we've got quite a lot, as you can see, more than we're probably ever going to need. But this farm just runs, ticks over whilst I'm not here, and I guess functions very well for the size of it. So we're going to leave it as it is, and one day we might even build an entrance that allows us to get down here. But at the moment, as I say, no real entrance, so we have to break through the wall to actually make our way into the farm, which is kind of unfortunate and kind of silly, but you know, until I build that entrance, we're going to keep doing the same thing. Okay guys, moving away from the furnace area and villager trading area down these stairs here, we can come back into kind of the lobby / ravine area of our base. Still don't know what it's called. Anyway, this quickly here is our friendly neighborhood golem who absolutely loves jumping up and down on this slime block, which is kind of annoying. Her name is Gemma Collins. If you don't know who that is, give it a quick Google, but if you're from the UK, then you might know. She's kind of a meme on the channel at the moment, so there's that. Coming into this small area, you can ride the water elevator up into our dark oak tree farm, and this was a very important build for us because, as you can tell, we're using dark oak everywhere. So we had to build this tree farm in order to supplement our needs, and we've currently got a total of 10 trees in here, which provides a huge output, of course, because these trees are built up by a lot of logs, so it's very easy to come by the dark oak in this farm. If you come right down to the end of the farm, you'll see we've got a bit of water, and that is our pond area. So we kind of added a bit of natural wildlife into the build. So we've got a few fish in there, a couple of textures, some seagrass, that type of thing, a little bit of a cave at the back that is shadowed by these vines. I really like how it turned out, actually. It looks really cool. So I'm pleased with this build, and of course, as I say, it does provide us with the goods and the things that we need for this base to keep expanding. If we come out of the dark oak tree farm and head down this corridor, on our right hand side we've got an automatic cactus farm. Everything that comes out of this farm is stored in this tower of chests here, but that's slowly filling up, so we might even have to start expanding that or dumping the cactus into lava or something like that, because we're getting far too much for our system to handle, and I don't want the entities to begin lagging the game out. But this is, again, a Wells Knight design, I believe, which is who designed the furnace array that we've got over at the back there. And as I said, the glass panes just stop the cactus from destroying itself by landing on another plant. And it drops down into the water system and is filtered into this central chain of hoppers, which then brings it to our storage system right under this trapdoor. So moving on again, we have our 1.14 wool farm. So this thing is actually functional now, as long as we provide it with shears, which I haven't done yet. So Each of these pens has 3 sheep in. We have 1 pen for each color of wool. And then just behind the sheep, you have some dispensers that should have shears in, but we haven't provided them with any yet because, of course, the update has only just came out. And every time a grass block is eaten, the sheep should automatically get sheared. And, of course, the items will be dumped down into the middle there. And what we do to collect that is we have a cart that runs along a rail. And as you can see, it will end up here, and once it's here and has items inside of it, it will dispense them into this water stream, which takes the items up to the back there, and there you can see the chest making its way around the system. The hopper cart, sorry, and that will dispense items out into this room here. So again, this is one of my favorite builds, just because of the grandeur of the ceiling, I think. Look how high up it goes. It just looks so cool in my opinion. But we have a silo here for each color of wool. And as you can see, based on the lights that are turned on, you can see how many chests full we have. We don't really have too much in here because, of course, up until 1.14, this farm was totally manual. So we didn't really harvest it that much because we don't have too many uses for wool right now. But you can see we've used a few of the wool colors where the lights have gone off. And then on the other side again, we have the remaining 4 colors. So as I say, I really like this room, and this farm actually has gained functionality now. So we should start providing it with some shears so that it can automatically run itself rather than having us run through the system. But yeah, really, really nice build. So coming back through this corridor, on our right hand side here, this is a very recent build. We've got our nether portal area, so you come out into this small cave room, and of course usually the portal is lit, but because I was passing through it so regularly, I decided to turn it off because the noises really do get annoying. So that guy is of course not lit at the moment, but if we pass through it and head down the stairs, we come out into our nether wart farm. So this thing again is basically automatic apart from the planting process. So at the back here we've got our control panel with 2 switches. The first one is a water bucket, so if we hit that, the water is dispensed across the platform, flushing everything down into a collection system at the bottom. Then we can go ahead, press it again to turn the water off. There you go. And then the secondary button is the hopper minecart, which sends the minecarts down to harvest the goods. So we might see it on its way back here if we look down into the system. There it goes, and once it makes its way back up to the top here, it should start dispensing the nether wart into this chest. There you go. So then we can obviously take the nether wart out, replant it, and go again. But I'm not going to do that right now because it takes a bit of time, of course. But this room, as you can see, is struggling with lighting. That's why we've got torches everywhere. Hopefully we can resolve that soon because it does look pretty weird with the torches. But yeah, as I say, we'll get that sorted out eventually. Okay guys, so backtracking towards the tree farm, on the right here we've got a small bridge, and this takes us across to this cell looking area. So it looks like a jail cell, and that's because it kind of is, I guess. So when we were bringing the villagers down, this is where they came from, up there. And just above this build on the surface is actually our villager breeder, so I'll take you guys up there at a later stage of the video. But we're not going to be using this anymore. So I could go ahead and repurpose it, or I could just leave it as it was, as kind of a memory to what we once had. But for now, as I say, it's unused, and we've got this. I like the bridge though. I like the bridge that crosses the ravine. It just adds something extra and a bit more to look at. And as you can see up there, we've got another bridge, which I will touch on later again in the video. However, coming along this way, if we cross over the farm and take a left, head down this corridor, you can see some stairs that actually lead out into 2 more intersecting ravines, which is where we are beginning to extend our base. So we've got a few mobs up here, which is unfortunate, and I might quickly take them out just to avoid any complications. There we go, he's down, and then his skeletal friend also needs to go down. There we go, perfect. Okay, so I'll drop off their goods as well. So on the right hand side, this is the very first build that we came up with over in the new area of the base. This is our enchanting and repair station. So as you can see, coming along the path, we've got an indented an enchanting station, and you can open the trapdoor, follow the ladders down. There's a chest with some lapis in, and the enchanting table itself. So of course, this setup is capable of level 30 enchantments, and we've only used it twice. I think we enchanted a wooden pick to test it, and then yesterday in the 1.14 update video we actually enchanted a crossbow, which was nice. At the back of the room here we've got another pond area with a bit of wildlife, so that looks quite cool. Bit of lighting in there provided by the sea pickles, just to give it that ambience behind the vines. On the left and the right we've got 2 staircases which lead up to this balcony area at the top, so this allows us to kind of get a view of the room and also use the anvil, which is situated at the back here in the bookshelves. Again, I really like this design. It looks kind of cool. We've got the nature and the library type theme combined here, and there is still more work to do. We need some more bookshelves for this room to really bring it to life, but at the moment it's definitely going in the right direction. Opposite the enchanting room is, I think, the latest build in the series. No, I know for sure it's the latest build in the series. This is our carrot farm. So each segment of it looks the same. At the moment, we've got 4 segments. I do aim to take this all the way to the ceiling of the ravine, though. So it's possibly room for another 1 or 2 up there. So what you can do is come to the right-hand side here, hit the button, and that will dispense water across the system. And as you can see, the carrots begin to fall down, and the harvest usually is quite large. So eventually they'll all make their way into the hoppers there and come to this central chest, which allows us to collect them and replant. But as I say, again, we won't be replanting right now because it does take time, and we don't really have time to be doing stupid things like that in the video. So here is the, if you didn't check it out, here is like the transition, I guess, from our dark oak tree farm into the next ravine. We just added a bit of design work in there, similar to the rest of the base, to make that staircase transition happen. So now that we've seen everything in this area, let's go down the water elevator here on the other side, which brings you down and now into this small lobby area again. And if we take a left and head in this direction, we can go up the slime block launcher, which I don't, maybe this is due to 1.14, I have no idea why, but it doesn't work at the moment, so we're probably going to have to risk our lives flying up there, which isn't too much of an issue. We should be able to get up there, so let's do this and that. And we made our way right in. So this is the animal farm slash petting zoo, and it doesn't have an actual name yet, but usually you'd get up by using this slime block launcher elevator thing, and then coming across the bridge, which of course goes over the top of our ravine, you'll enter the room. So on the left hand side here, we've got the butcher's axe. This is what we use to slay our animals and gather their loot. On the right here, we've got chests to store everything that we need and get from this room. On the left hand side here, we've got our first pen, which contains the chickens, and we just got a new one. So there you go, lucky egg right there. So we've got a couple of chickens in there. Can we get another one here? Let's see. No, we cannot, unfortunately. Okay, progressing onwards, we have pigs in here, and all of the pens look similar. They're just different sizes. We've got pigs in there. I aim to bring some llamas up into this one, but it's empty at the moment. Down here, probably our most important one in the room is the cows. There aren't too many of those because I've been killing them for their leather, is the short and narrow of it. And then finally over here, the last pen, which again is empty, but I do aim to bring some rabbits over here. So this design is very similar to the enchanting slash repair setup, as you guys can see. And again, this is one of my favorite builds in the room. In the base. It really does look cool. I tried to go with the natural type build, the cave-like feel, and I think we hit it. We hit the nail on the head with this one. So there we have it, and that is pretty much everything for this area of the base. So I guess to progress onwards, we can take the cart here and head up towards the mine, which as I say is, oh actually no, I've just remembered there is one more thing that we can check out before we head out, and that is the skeleton farm, which we don't really use anymore. It was an XP farm linked up to a spawner, but we don't use it anymore because it's not very efficient at all. But as you can see over here, we've got 3 silos. On the left, we store the arrows. In the middle, we store the bones. And on the right, we store any armor slash bows that we get from this system. We've got the water stream here, which allows items to be sent up and over to that area. So to use it, you want to hit this button first. That pushes the water across and sends all of the skeletons into the center of the farm. That allows you to come down here and start hacking at their feet. And then if you hit this one, and I go quiet, you can hear the ticking sound. That is the dispenser which fires items in through the system. And as you can see, we've already got some in there that went up the item elevator there. But I'm not going to spend too much time down here because, as I say, this build is kind of forgotten about and we don't use it. There is no real way to get here. You have to kind of traverse through a cave. So we don't pay too much attention to it really. So let's get back onto the rails and head back over to the mining area. And this cart is going very slowly. There we go. Right, we should be picking up some momentum now, which will allow us to get there a bit more quickly. And we got a bit of lag as well, but this tunnel of course takes us away from the ravine up towards our mine. So coming out this door here, you'll see we've got this little area, and this was really truly one of the very first things that we built in this world. So this was connected to our original base, which was at the top of this ladder, which we've actually bypassed now. But coming down here is our branch mine. You can see it goes all the way down there. We've got a cave at the end here, and we just seal everything off with this design here. So we use the iron bars to seal off any that we've mined out. So that is where we come and do all of our mining, coming up the stairs and making a U-turn. You can see we've got a few furnaces, a bit of a chest storage action here, and then our crafting bench on the opposing side right before we hit our ladder, which takes us up to the surface. Okay, you guys, so now that we've basically explored everything downstairs, let's fly right here if we can. There we go, and get ourselves up above ground. first things first, we should probably sleep. Bring it back to daytime. That will be the best point at which to start looking at these builds. Let me just get rid of this spider. There we go. And we can sleep in our nice green bed here, looking towards a few of the builds in the world to give you a bit of a taste of what's to come. So, firstly, we'll start over here at the mob farm, and what you see in front of you is the automatic storage system for this thing. So, this, and my friend here, who also has to pay the price for coming near me, is part of the mob farm. So that extends right up above the clouds, and we'll go and check out the rest of it in a minute. And this is the killing area at the bottom here, so you can see we're using magma blocks for the killing purpose there. And if we come over to the storage system here, you'll realize that this is a shulker box storage system. And the way this works is everything is brought into the system through water streams, which are then filtered at the back here. So each of these segments has multiple filters, and it's based on mob type. So green for a creeper, well, lime for a creeper, white for the skeletons, black for spiders, green for zombies, and then purple for witches. So if we check the witch shulker box out, you'll see each of the witch drops are being filtered correctly in there. And if you ever want to take some of these drops elsewhere in the world, you can come over, break the shulker box. One is immediately dispensed into the system, and your shulker box goes flying off somewhere. Maybe back into the system, it looks like, yeah, but we are supposed to collect it, of course, and then you can take it anywhere you want in the world and just start utilizing it in your builds, in your crafting recipes, that type of thing. So that's pretty much it for the storage system. Let's head up to the top here so I can show you the functionality of the farm itself. So this is a Nembon design from probably the Psycraft server, but I can't know for sure. It's a similar design to the one used by Tango Tech in Hermitcraft as well. So if we come up to the top and flick the switch and take a little bit of a hike over to the edge here, look down towards the farm, you'll see that mobs begin to fall through the system. They fall down into the killing chamber and are forced onto the magma blocks, which subsequently kill them. And once they are killed, this water stream that flows down every now and again will push the items into the sorting system underneath. So now that we've let a few mobs run through the system and a few drops come to life at the bottom, let's head back down there and see the storage system in action. So here we go. Let's try and catch it mid-operation. So you can see a few items are going up the system there. I think we just probably had our last item go up, but the lights that are flickering on and off are indicating to us that we actually have loot going into the chests here, or the shulker boxes, I should say. So you can see a few bones and arrows went in. I think we had a bit of gunpowder going into the creeper shulker box here, which is nice. And then altogether, this combines, as I say, to form the storage system for our farm here. So as you can see, this was at 63 and it is now at 64 and an extra one. So let me quickly sort out these drops here that I got from killing a couple of mobs there, and we will move on to the next build because that's pretty much it for this one. Okay, that's full, so we're gonna have to keep the flesh on us, unfortunately. Anyhow, going up this staircase here, which is far from finished as well, as you can tell, it's a bit of a rough outline at the moment of what we kind of want to achieve. There needs to be some serious terraforming here. If you come up here, that brings you up to our 100 subscriber monument. So this was kind of an homage to all of you who subscribed, and we managed to hit that milestone on the 6th of April 2019, and we're almost up towards 150 now, so we're progressing nicely. Over here we had a book called Witnessed 100, and it's got a few of the names of subscribers in that wanted to have their name forever memorialized up here. And now that we're in the 1.14 update, we'll probably place a lectern up here and have this book stored somewhere up here. But I do need to rewrite this book. So if you want your name in the book, of course, let me know down in the comments and I'll stick you in it. And that's regardless of whether or not you subscribe before I hit 100. Don't worry about that. If you want your name in the book, you can have your name in the book. I'm pretty lenient with those type of things. And then we've also got the 100 subscriber diamond. So this was kind of a suggestion in the chat whilst we were building this on the stream, so I figured that we'll just stick it in there. Why not? It's kind of a bit of fun, you know. We've got the 100 subscriber diamond up on the monument, but we designed this to be able to see it from far away. So if we fly out here for a second and turn around, you can see that the 100 is clearly visible from a lot of locations in the world. So that's nice, and it's just good to kind of memorialize some of the achievements that we've made on the channel. So this is the kind of pagoda / entrance exit to our base. This is where you're brought out once you fly up the ladders, and of course we left that gap up there so that we can immediately fly through the roof and out anywhere we need to be. But this has pathways leading away from it. So you've got a pathway that leads to the right over to our wheat farm and sugarcane farm, off to the left, which leads up to the mob farm there, and then a path that leads centrally directly towards our house, which I will go to next. So this house is a mythical sausage tutorial build. So I didn't come up with this myself. I changed a few textures and tweaked some things here and there, but apart from that, it is totally mythical sausages build. So coming around the outside, we've got this little balcony. And on the inside, we've got a little bit of furniture here and there, but this house wasn't designed to be lived in. I will explain in a second. So we've got some sort of mini plant nursery here. And I said to the guys in the video when I was making this that we kind of placed this cactus in sort of as a sort of a nod to my parents, because they like to grow cacti in their house. So that was kind of the reasoning for that. And then we've got another little plant here, which doesn't have much reason behind it, but there was a funny little backstory to this one, I guess. We've got our bed over here. Of course, we've made it into kind of a nice fixture in the room. We've got a little sofa by our fireplace, which I think we can now put one of the campfires in. That'd be quite cool. Give it a bit of extra, a bit of extra design and feel in here. Over this way, we've got some storage chests that we've just got some essentials in. So at the moment, we've got our rockets in there. So it's going to be stuff that we need quite frequently, and I haven't decided what else to put in there yet. And finally, on this wall here, we've got our record player with no records in it. These item frames are designed to hold records in. At the moment, we've got our book and quill here. This just got a bit of information about our villagers in it, and I didn't really know where to put it, so we're leaving it there for now. Coming up the staircase is where we will begin to explain what this house was built for. So this house was built as a storage system mainly, because we had to keep going in and out of our base down there to grab materials. So we always had to go down there into the ravine to grab materials. But I figured, why wouldn't we just make things easier for ourselves and actually start to store things above ground? So that's what we did, and we kind of labeled it in the same way. So we've got glass and ice in the same chest, nether blocks in the same chest, we've got dirt, sand and gravel, stone blocks, wooden blocks, that type of thing. You guys know how it works by now. And then over here we've just got some extra storage just in case we need it, but for now we're not even anywhere close to filling this up, so we should be good for the time being. And that is pretty much that for the house, aside from this small balcony area here on the top floor that kind of just wraps around the building. Nothing too special, but a nice feature, design feature for the place. And as I said, this was nothing to do with me. I didn't design this build at all. It was completely Mythical Sausage's design. So if you want to find out how to do this, make sure to go and check his channel out. You could probably find a link to the video exactly if you search back on my channel and find the video in which we built this house. I think the title of the episode was A Mythical Home or something along those lines, so it should be nice and easy for you to locate if that is what you want to do. However, moving on, let us go and take a look at the wheat field and the sugarcane farm. That seems like the next logical place to go. So of course we can either take the pathways, we can fly, but I'll take the pathways for I guess observational purposes here, so that you guys can kind of see how the paths work. So they're all a combination of a similar set of blocks. So we've got the nice brown textures in there, and of course the gravel just to give that extra bit of tone. And then coming down here is where our sugarcane farm begins. So we've got this nice wall that sort of separates us from this land area here, so that mobs can't just jump down and attack us. That was mainly built to avoid creepers, of course. We don't want those guys just blowing up randomly. Then we've got our wheat field here, which is nothing special. I'll quickly give you guys a look at this. And this is a design feature. It doesn't really function in any way because we haven't harvested it at all yet, but it was merely a design feature that I guess could work as a wheat farm if we do need a bunch of wheat at once. But that is all it is. It is just a huge field of crops at the moment, and we might possibly build more of those in the world just to liven things up a bit, but I really like how it looks, so definitely we'll think about doing that. And then this pathway sort of leads from that end to here, and then round the corner and up to this area, which is where you can actually control the wheat, the sugarcane farm from. So let me give you a demonstration of how that works. And once again, this is a Nembon design. I believe he was the originator of this, and it's using flying machines. So if we hit this button here, the flying machine begins to make its way across the field, destroying all of the crops, tearing them down, forcing them into these gaps here. So it will eventually, of course, finish over there at that obsidian block. And then you're supposed to send it back the other way to push all of the entities off of the top of the hedges here back down into these cracks, because that is the only place that they can be harvested from. But I'm not going to bother doing that because, of course, you guys probably get the idea from this. And then down here we have our collection system. So let's go ahead and demonstrate that. Hitting this button will send the minecarts off underneath the farm. And then slowly but surely, or I guess it's kind of quickly actually, they will return And that ticking you hear is the items being dispensed. They are sent down a water stream, which leads down underneath this wall, and we... Oops, that was a bit weird. We don't actually have a proper way to get down here yet, but as you can see, all of the sugarcane eventually makes its way down into these chests here, and we can come and harvest it and use it for whatever we desire. So this is the reason why, really, we have so many villagers right now, is because we were using this to craft paper so that we could trade with a bunch of them and just make enough emeralds to buy the things that we needed. So that's basically it for the wheat farm and the sugarcane farm. So why don't we head on over to the villager breeder, which was one of the first things that we built outside, and you can see a few of them are actually in locations that they shouldn't be in, which is unfortunate, but I'm not going to do anything about it. So this is the main breeding chamber, and I cannot be sure whether or not this still works in 1.14. We'll have to wait and see. You do see the love hearts coming up, so maybe it does still work, but as I say, I'm not 100% sure about that, so we'll wait and see. So if you come down the stairs, you can access the farm through these hatches here, or these fence gates I should say, and round here is the area in which you can sort of select and choose which villagers you want to take with you. So the way this works is you're supposed to go inside, push a villager that you want to collect into the system here, then you send a cart its way, and of course the villager is dragged out. Then you can go ahead, if he has trades, this guy doesn't seem to have trades, you can check his trades, see if they're good or not. If they're bad, of course you just deal with him like that. If they're good, you take him out of the cart, force him into this area and push him through this water stream here, and this is what deposits the villager down into the jail cell that we have down in the ravine base. So that's the way that works. We probably won't use it all that much nowadays because as I say, villager mechanics are changing now that 1.14 is released, so I don't know how it's going to work and how effective it is going to be, but we might either make some changes to the system in order for it to work again, or we may just go ahead and scrap it, tear it down and build something else instead. But I kind of like the way it looks. It doesn't really fit the theme that well, and we didn't put too much design work into it compared to everything else out here, but as I say, it's not the worst thing in the world. So let me take a quick break here and I'll bring you guys back in a second because I think we're about done, to be honest. Okay guys, so I'm trying to give you a bit of an aerial view of things here so you can kind of determine the location of builds around the world if you're new to this series, of course. But there is one more quite substantial thing to show you, and I will quickly take you over to look at that in a moment, just after we fly past one more time. So let's take another look. It's got our house, we've got the mob farm, of course, with the storage system, we've got our sugarcane farm, the wheat field, and then of course the villager breeding system is over in the corner there. We actually have a village here, which only had 2 more villagers in it once I actually came to build the villager breeder, so that's pretty much done for. However, we do have a guardian farm off in this direction, so I will quickly speed up this footage to get us over there, and once we've arrived I'll bring you guys back in to check it out because this build is quite special. Okay, so here we are, you guys. Here is the Guardian farm, and unfortunately 1.14 is still having its issues with chunk loading, as you can see. It's kind of ridiculous, actually. They really need to fix this because it's really hard to tell where you're going. But this is the outer, of course, the outer side of the build where the Guardians are actually harvested into a central location. And we're getting a little bit of lag here. That's mainly because of the particle effects at the bottom. I could turn those off, but I think we'll survive, especially once we get down into the farm itself where we go ahead and kill the Guardians. So as you can see, they make their way down into the central tube here. And I think this is a Cub fan design. He built it on the Hermitcraft server. So you guys can go and check that out quite easily if you want to build something yourselves like this, and it just removes the need to drain the monument. You do, however, have to destroy the monument, which takes time, and of course building this takes a lot of time as well, but it's definitely worth it because this thing is amazing for XP. It gives you all of the prismarine blocks you'll ever need. Obviously, aside from the dark prismarine, you do have to harvest some ink for that, but you'll never run out of the shards and the crystals, that is for sure. And of course, this provides you with a ton of food and other good stuff as well, so it's definitely worth building. And of course, immediately, as you can see, we don't actually have a proper way in here, but this is kind of the entrance area where we kill the mobs. They form themselves into a little area down there, and after passing through a lava blade, they're almost one-hit, well, they are a one-hit kill. With sweeping edge, we'd probably be able to kill more than one at once, but unfortunately we don't have a sweeping edge sword at the moment. On either side of the room, we've got these small plant fixtures. So they just have a bit of kelp inside of them, a few lights, that type of thing. It's just to add a bit of design. I eventually want to come in and add a few more textures into this build because I kind of don't like the way it looks. I think we should add some dark oak into it or something just to give a bit of extra, you know, a bit of extra color and texture. So one day we will eventually do that. But if you look over the balcony and towards this area, we have this huge guardian mural on the wall. So let me give you a demonstration as to what this thing does. So if we come in here and just kill a few of these guys. There we go. They seem to die really quick that time, actually. Have they... Has 1.14 boosted the effect that swords have across multiple mobs? Because these things are dying very quick. Did you see how quickly they died then? I think 1.14 might have made a few changes in that regard. So let me actually throw these items into the system, because at the bottom here we do have some hoppers that dispense everything down into some water streams. And as you can see, the items flow out of the Guardian's eye. And if we come downstairs, there's a staircase on either side. They both look identical, just for the sake of your imagination. If we come downstairs, you'll see the items are fed into another bank of hoppers, which then spur items out into a water stream on either side, which either goes up this side. So as you can see, we've got a few items coming up here, or the other side. Again, some items are traveling up there, and then they are dispensed into this silo storage system here. So we've got our prismarine shards on either side at the start. In the middle, we've got our prismarine crystals on either side, and finally at the end, we have our raw cod on either side. And anything that doesn't make its way into the silos will be stored into this huge bank of chests on the back wall here. And apparently we filled up one of these silos by the looks of it, because we're actually getting shards in here now. So that's interesting, I guess. And of course we get our cooked cod from here, which is our main food source at the moment. So that's nice. But yeah, this is, as I said, one of the more extravagant builds in the world, and it still has a lot of work to do. I think we're going to install a few more of those plant type features into this area and this area. And then of course we do need to sort the ceiling out, and as I said, bring a few more textures in, like maybe some stripped dark oak or something like that, just to add a bit of color and a bit of extra detail. But all being said, I think this is definitely one of the more extravagant builds, as I say, in our world. And I really do like the way that we came up with this guardian mural that sort of spits the items out into the hoppers there. It looks really cool. So I'm going to bring you guys back over to the base so that we can say our goodbyes and all of that good stuff. So I'll catch you guys in just a second. Alright you guys, so we are back where pretty much it all began, and this is going to be the end of today's episode, episode 100, and of course the world tour. So I cannot say thank you enough to all of you so far that have showed your support for the channel. It's been great, it's been a really good journey so far, and of course we're hoping to take this world much further than the point it is at the moment, and especially with the new updates coming out, there's a lot to do at the moment, so we're definitely going to have a lot of fun in the coming episodes, so stay tuned for those, of course. And once again, let me just say thank you for being here for this video in particular, and I hope that you enjoyed the world tour and seeing all of the things that we built together so far. It really, as I say, has been a great time and a good journey so far. So hopefully we can take this really into some quite great detail, and obviously build a lot of stuff around the world and keep just bringing things together and tying the builds together in the world with paths and the sort of thing to make quite a nice world for us to explore together, to build in together, to live in together, and to play in together. So do not forget that there's a download link in the description for this world if you want to check it out for yourselves. And of course, if you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to drop a like down below. If you have any questions, suggestions, comments, feedbacks, anything to say in general, pop that down in the comment section below and I'll be sure to get back to you on that. And finally, if you're new around here, then be sure to subscribe to stay tuned to this series and any other videos I decide to post. Okay, you guys, once more, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to come and watch this world tour video today. It's been great fun recording it for you guys, so I hope you had fun too. Take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and I will catch you all in the next episode. Bye for now.